complete honesty, transparency here, I have not had either one of these recipes before. I was looking for something different, something new that I have not tried. So I came across these, and if you don't know me, you'll find out very quickly, I only do easy. In the kitchen, I want it to be easy. So neither one of these recipes are hard. But I was kind of, when I was searching online, I was kind of looking for things, something different, you know, because we all have salads and recipes that we use over and over, and I love them, but sometimes you just are in the mood for something different. And so that was kind of my theme when I was looking for recipes. So these two are definitely different, something that you don't always see, or there's a little twist that make it a little unique. So I'm going to start off with the watermelon salad, and you can see not difficult. You have 7 total ingredients. There's 4 in the salad, and then you have just the little glaze that it's olive oil, balsamic glaze, balsamic vinegar, and salt and pepper, so not too difficult. But this one, the biggest time taker here is cutting up your watermelon. Obviously, that's what's going to take you the most amount of time. And I'll be honest, when I cut up watermelon at home, it doesn't look near as nice as it does for this. Because it said, oh, nice little bites. I'm like, oh my gosh, because my husband, I've got all his different sizes in there and everything. So it's really simple. Again, you can see it just cutting up the seedless watermelon. That was simple. Throw it in a bowl. And then you can see taking a red onion, which was the twist in this, one of the twists, and I diced them up pretty small. And Spencer will be appalled. It says a 1/4 cup. I don't measure. Oh, yeah. Something like that. I don't do that. I know that just sends shudders up and down is fine, but I'm like, yeah, that looks good. Well, I need a little bit more. So, and then of course, because I make it a bit like, this is not 4 cups of watermelon. It's the whole watermelon plus a little bit more, because we had one, and I was just like, that looks good. So I just kept adding to taste. Then you see the same thing. Oh, feta cheese. I put one in there. I brought another one because I'll add a little bit more now. Again, it's already crumbled. I don't want to even have to mess with that. And the other big thing I had to do was chop up mint leaves, and that was it. So that's what's in here. Yes?
Where did you get your fresh mint leaves?
They were at Walmart. Yeah, they're in the little containers, actually.
Okay, good, thanks.
Yes, they do have them. You have to sometimes search. They're kind of up. And they usually try to keep it together, but like basil's never there. They kind of keep that a little bit different, because that's what I always use for like a caprese salad or something. So, but yeah, just this, and chopped it up. And I took off all the stems, because that's yucky, and just chopped that up. And then I just made my glaze here, and I'll add that. And this is just the olive oil and the balsamic vinegar mixed together. I threw a little salt and pepper in there, and you can see I'm going to toss it all together before everybody comes up and eat. I didn't want to make it too soggy or anything, so I'll add that before everyone comes up to give it a try. So that's it on that. Nothing, like I said, nothing difficult. And this is, without everything, this is what it currently looks like. And I have not I just kind of threw it all in there and left it. Did that last night, so it was ready to go. Any questions on that one? No? Okay, you can smell the onion, the wafting of the onion right there. Okay, so the other one is this cranberry walnut chickpea salad, what a mouthful, with an orange vinaigrette. So when I started this one last night, the first thing I did was throw together my vinaigrette and just left that. Again, I'm going to put this on right before we eat, so it's all set. It doesn't get too moist. But you can see this is orange juice, olive oil, apple cider vinegar, Dijon mustard. I used honey. It says honey or maple syrup. And again, if you don't want it sweet, you could have left it out. But I thought, let's give it a whirl. And then salt and pepper. So I doubled this. This is a double batch of it. And I doubled each batch. So there's all kinds of, because I just had enough of everything. It was like, why not make enough? I've got it. Let's do it. So why that? I take that back. Before I did that, the very first thing I did was open the chickpeas and drain them and rinse them off. So I could kind of just dry out. Then I did my vinaigrette, did a lot of shaking, a lot of whisking up to make it good. And then I just stuck that in the fridge overnight. And you can see dried cranberries. I always keep those. I use them. I keep them in my freezer because I'm throwing those on salads a lot because it just gives me a little bit of sweet. I had to toast up some walnuts. This has a small cucumber and again the red onion, really thin. And then threw that all in there. And the last thing I added on top was the mixed greens and spinach. And I just got the mixed green mix at Walmart. So you can see I need to toss it, but that's really what it will do. And then I'll just throw the vinaigrette on. And then the feta cheese, because that's what comes on at the end if you want. Yes?
You toast walnuts yourself.
I did. And the best, because I toasted, I looked up, I Googled, I said, what's the best way to toast walnuts? And I just did them in my toaster oven, or if you have the oven, and it said 350 for 8 to 10 minutes. Yep. So that's all I did, and we use a toaster oven because that way I don't have to heat up the whole house, especially now. So that makes it a lot easier. So that's really it. The nice thing was this is, like I said, I made this all yesterday afternoon. The vinaigrette, so I just have to drizzle things on. I just didn't want it to get too sopping, too moist. So I'll add that at the end. But that's it. I really do, in ease and everything, but if I can make up as much things ahead of time, especially if you're having people, you don't want to have to be in the kitchen all the time working on things. Whatever you can do to make it easy, or that's my mantra, so I'm sticking to it. So, any questions on any of those? Yes?
Approximately, what's the serving size? Is it like 4 to how many people?
For this one, the chickpea salad, it said it says 4, initially it says 1 can of chickpeas. So it says 4 servings. So again, both bowls are doubled. So, I mean, it's whatever you're comfortable with. I think the impression I got from when I read it online is that you could make a meal out of that, or if you wanted to serve it with something else, if you wanted it with the meat or something. But it's nice with the chickpeas, it's an alternate protein so that you don't have to heat up the kitchen. So it would be, the size that you're comfortable with. But it said serving 4 with 1 can with 1 15-ounce can. And then everything, again, I didn't measure. Cucumber, I didn't measure. No. Yeah, no, I just used what we had and.
Salads. When we decided to do this, I thought summer salad. I always think about being up north, macaroni salad, potato salad. Now, something that my grandparents made, I'm going to see how this goes over. I thought about making this, but I tried it at the office, and everybody said, you guys are crazy. So when we would go to these functions, whether it was for like the Lions Club or church or whatever, my grandmother would make an orange Jell-O mold ring, okay? Everybody's with me so far, right? Oh, yeah. And it had some kind of fruit or something in it, okay? So far, so good. Yeah. This is where I lost everybody. So when we set this out to serve it, we would have a little glass bowl that was full of mayonnaise. Yeah. Okay, so some people going, yes. So I don't feel like I was like, locked away in a closet or something. Okay. Yeah, so I thought, doesn't this sound great? We should do this, bring this back. And everybody said, no, don't do that to these poor people. I said, okay, so we gave up on the mayonnaise. So I love mayonnaise, so I know it's not everybody's thing. Okay, in your booklet, I'm on page 7. It's the chopped Thai salad with sesame garlic dressing. So I was looking for something different. And when I saw this, I thought, oh, it's going to have a peanut butter sauce. No, it's got this garlic sauce. So I said, oh, this is good. This is also good for somebody who may be allergic to nuts, which is something else I was looking for. However, In the dressing, there is sesame seed oil. So if that's an issue for you, you don't want this. You could just leave it out if you're going to make it yourself. But when we get that far, I did leave the cashews separate, so in case anybody has that kind of thing going on. Okay, so the first thing is, and I doubled everything like Suzanne was talking about. So the biggest prep to this was this edamame stuff, okay? I learned real fast, it comes shelled and in the pods. Guess which one Spencer got? So, this is what the person who did our shopping for us, this is what they bought for us. Oh, sorry, let's get it the right way up. So there's like 6 of these little packs. And the nice thing is you throw it in the microwave, 3 minutes a pop, you're done. Then you sit there and I love the instructions. It said put your finger through it and pop them in your mouth. I said, well, we're not going to do that. So I laid it all the way out on the board and then chopped it. So that's how I handled that. But one box, now this does have the pods in it. To double this, it was going to call for 32 ounces, but this was 30 ounces, but I'm sure they're counting the pods. So we're probably a little short on that, but that's all right.
I'm so proud of you.
Yes. I didn't have a meltdown. Suzanne is my sister from a different mister. It's okay. She tells me when I get a little crazy. I'm like, yes, Suzanne. Okay, dial it down. All right, we'll start with the dressing first. So that's on the left-hand side of your column. So I'm looking at these ingredients, and what they want you to do is to put it all in the food processor. Food processor is a fun toy to use. 30 seconds, right? And then you got 20 minutes to clean the darn thing. So I'm like, no, we're not doing that. So, see, you're rubbing off on me. I still had fun, yeah. All right, so canola oil, use whatever you got. This is not like dependent on a certain kind of oil. I use canola oil. 3 cloves of garlic. Again, I channeled my inner Suzanne. I asked for the minced garlic in the jar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I doubled everything. All right, low sodium soy sauce, that was easy. Water, distilled vinegar, honey, the sesame oil, that's what I was talking about earlier. Now, this lemongrass paste. So what I try to do is we've got to try to stretch our dollar here because we got a lot of people. This tube of lemongrass paste was $15. And we only needed 2 tablespoons. I said, no, I'm not doing that to our fiscal department. So the ginger was cheaper. I don't know exactly how much it was because we swapped it, but that's what's actually in here is ginger paste. I believe she had to go to Publix to get that because Walmart was out of it. A squeeze of lime juice. Okay, so rather than the food processor route, I put it all in here. It's still chunky and everything. They want you to blitz it in the food processor. I got out the boat motor. If you don't have one of these things, they're worth their weight in gold. Plus, it comes apart, so you can clean it. Did you know if you take a bowl of hot water with soap and you stick it in there and turn it on, go run, 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 it's clean? It's awesome. If any of you make Chex Mix, I know, how many were here when we had the Chex Mix one that time? That was like 2 years ago. Anybody here for that? No? So when I make the Chex Mix liquid stuff, the butter and all that, the spices, have you ever poured the stuff in the pan and it goes right to the bottom and then you're sitting there and you're trying to coat it? If you use this, it'll actually give it some thickness and it'll stick to the cereal. So I'll sit there for about 2 minutes and just let this thing, and then it's like, comes out kind of like pudding. And then you just stir, 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 and actually sticks to the cereal and it does not go all the way to the bottom and just stay there. So that's another thing. This one's a Braun. We've had it a while. It's actually my wife's. I borrowed it. So, but it works great. So I just stuck that right in there, let her go for about 30 seconds. It was done. All right, for the salad part, Everybody talks about their family spoon, their family bowl, their family fork, whatever it is that grandma had that, you know, everybody goes to and wants to use and they fight over it, right, as an heirloom. We have a bowl. I don't know if anybody's going to be fighting over this by the time, you know, my time comes, but yes, somebody said popcorn bowl. We have had popcorn in this. Nobody ain't got no popcorn over our family, let me tell you. All right, so we're going to put it all right in here. I actually prepped everything ahead of time. So the first thing is this edamame, which I guess soybeans, right? So there we go. That goes in the bowl. Don't worry, my hands are clean. I already licked them, so we should be good there. Okay. All right, kale. It calls for 5 to 6 cups. We're doing double batch today. We're going to see how this goes. When we dress this later, when you guys are ready to eat, this might be enough. You guys are going to get your fiber in for the rest of your lives today, let me tell you. Carrots. So again, I was channeling my inner Suzanne, and I said, why should I buy a bag of regular carrots, run them through the food processor when you can get them like this? Okay, in we go. I'm on that 12-step, you know, take it easy program. Suzanne's the president, so we get along well. All right, this is actually what took me a while to cut. So it calls for 2 bell peppers. Well, guess what? They came 3 in a pack at Walmart. So she got 2 packs. That's 6 peppers. So we got a little extra peppers. So I just cut them, take all the seeds out, halved them, and then julienne them. So if you've not had that fun experience, it's a good way to waste about an hour. It's not bad. And it makes it colorful. So everybody laughed at my bowl. It's getting full here now, I'll tell you what. You guys are going to love this. Cilantro. So again, just took some off, gave it a rough chop, away we go. Okay. We ain't doing nothing hard yet. Green onions, I did follow that pretty much to the T because I know some people are not crazy about them or they get a little hot, but these, I don't think it's just going to add a little background flavor with all this extra stuff in here. Okay, and the cashews. So here is the cashews. I just threw a bunch of them on the board, gave them a rough chop, and I'm going to leave them separate in case anybody, you know, just for safety. There's a spoon here if you want to add some to yours. By the way, we got, again, going back to the buying of the groceries yesterday. So she came back, she got me 2 cans of cashews. Awesome. So I get home, 1 can of cashews, I took the plastic lid off, the foil was like this. So that's weird. I pull the foil off. It was like cashew soup on the inside. It all went in the garbage, and it was Planters. It was not like the Walmarts or the Publix or whatever. It was the actual, so I thank goodness we had a backup, so I just went with that, and it was fine. So basically I'm just going to toss this real quick, and like Suzanne said, once we get ready, I will go ahead and, actually I may just use these tongs, and I'll just throw the dressing on here, and we'll go with that.
My recipe also is up there. It's a quinoa salad. I originally had this salad from Chef Jason Osborne. I don't know if anyone is familiar with the Adult Culinary Institute or whatever that's part of the adult education program in Charlotte County, the technical school. And he is the chef there, and he teaches young people, you know, how to cook and stuff like that. And in fact, they just went to nationals, and one of his students won first prize national. He's the national champion, and he is now able to go to college with a scholarship that he won from the program. But Jason made the salad, and he calls it a quinoa salad. I'm okay with quinoa, but I have a family that doesn't like, you know, healthy stuff. So I tried to substitute some others. I increased the amount of arugula. It calls for 2 cups of arugula, but I actually use one of those clamshells, that they come in a 5-ounce clamshell, and I use the whole thing. So that's more than 2 cups, but to me, I like it better that way. And it's just a cup of raw quinoa, which you can buy in the jars or in bags from Walmart. The only thing is, I don't cook it according to the directions. The directions say to do a 2-to-1 ratio of water to quinoa, and Jason said use a 4-to-1 ratio. It works out better, and don't cook it as long, and that way it's got a little bit of it's like al dente. It's got a little bit more of a bite to it. And then it calls for a cup of either dried cherries or cranberries. I put cherries in this one, and to take a Vidalia onion and just julienne cut it, just half of it, just use half of the onion. And this has a cup of toasted pecans, because I like pecans better than walnuts. So that's basically the salad part. And then the dressing is just 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 4 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, and 3 to 4 tablespoons of EVOO. And I use, like Stuart, the immersion blender. And I made this and put it in the fridge. You can eat it cold. You can eat it, right after you've made the quinoa. You do have to rinse it and cool it off. But other than that, it's a very forgiving, and you can adjust things. Like I said, I adjust it to that there's more arugula than there is, than it calls for in the recipe. So, but any questions?
I'm sorry, what did you say about cooking time? Jason said cook it longer or?
No, he says, I cook it shorter. It says to cook it, the ratio is 2-to-1. It says to cook it for 15 minutes. I cook it 4-to-1, 4 cups of water to 1 cup of quinoa, and I only cook it like 12 minutes. So, because I like it to have, instead of being mushy, it's got more of a bite. So, but this one I think I went a little bit longer than I usually cook it. So, any other questions? Okay. Hope you enjoy it.
I made a caprese salad. And I was having a dinner party and looking for something that would feed kind of a lot of people and love this. So basically what I did is I just bought cherry tomatoes and I diced them in half. And then I just got the mozzarella balls that you see that are already marinated, and I quartered those. And then just the recipe called for balsamic with honey, and you kind of reduce the honey in there. But and I used that the first time, but this time I saw the already made glaze, so I'm on the Susan bandwagon. She's converting all of us. So anyway, I added that as well as some chopped up basil, and that's it. Simple, easy, feeds a lot of people. So I hope you enjoy it.
I had this at a friend's house and loved it, and she gave me the recipe, which came from a website. It's on the back of the recipe that has been printed up by Suzanne, thank you, from sugarspunrun.com, and it really had some good-looking recipes on it. But the hardest part is cutting up the broccoli into little florets, and I didn't cook them at all, but one of the suggestions is if you don't like it real crunchy, you could blanch it very briefly and make the broccoli a little softer. And then the other ingredients, a cup of cheddar cheese, 2/3 cup cranberries, dried cranberries, 1/2 cup crumbled bacon, and it's suggested to use the bacon that you can buy in the pouches, but make sure that it's real bacon. A 1/2 cup salted sunflower seeds, and 1/3 cup red onion, which I didn't put in because my stomach doesn't like onion. Everybody has onion in salads, but I did put a little onion powder in. I don't know, Spencer, if that helps, but
It's okay for your stomach.
I can eat cooked onion, and processed, but raw, I guess it gets to me. The dressing is mayo, and I wish I had the mayo made with the olive oil at home, but I didn't. But it suggests using that or regular mayo. Sour cream or yogurt. I use sour cream. Sugar, salt, and pepper, and then white wine vinegar. On the back, it has suggestions for if you wanted to substitute different vinegars, that's fine. And just mix that together, and that's it. I doubled the recipe.